Never use these 5 materials in your bathroom, even if they look great. That bathroom material looks amazing in the showroom, but here's why it's going to fall apart in your actual house. The bathroom is the hardest working room in your home from a material standpoint. And it doesn't get nearly enough credit for being brutal as it really is. Hot showers every day, steam, humidity swings, water splashing everywhere, floors, walls, countertops, cleaning products, all of it. Every single day for decades. I've been in a lot of bathrooms over the years, nice ones and not so nice ones, brand new ones that should have been redone 15 years ago. And the pattern I see over and over is the same one. Somebody picked a material because it looked incredible in a magazine or on a showroom floor, and they installed it in the bathroom that treated it exactly the way a bathroom treats everything: poorly. The thing about humidity is, it doesn't care how much you spent. It doesn't care how gorgeous something looks on day one. It shows up every single morning when someone takes a shower and it gets to work. And some materials, well, they can handle that. And some really can't. Today, we're gonna go through 5 specific materials that I've seen fail in bathrooms. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to avoid and, more importantly, what to use instead. Let's dive into it. Quick mention, if you're planning on a bathroom renovation and you want some resources to help you make all the right calls, click the link in my description. We're here to help. Now let's talk about what not to put in your bathroom. Number 1, standard laminate flooring. Let's start with one that comes up constantly because it looks good at the store. Laminate flooring, beautiful wood grain, tons of styles, way cheaper than real hardwood. And in every room of the house, except the bathroom, it's a good choice. In a bathroom, it is a ticking clock. The problem is that traditional laminate flooring has a core made from compressed wood fibers, HDF or MDF, depending on the product. The core absorbs moisture, not liquid water necessarily, but the steam from your shower, the humidity that builds up in the room, the ambient dampness that bathrooms just carry. Over time, that moisture seeps into the seams, between the planks, hits the core, and the wood fibers expand. They don't spring back. Once they're swollen permanently. You get cupping where the edges of each plank curl upward, buckling where the floor lifts away from the subfloor, and warping, which makes the whole floor look like a topographic map of some small hills. Now, there is a newer category of 100% waterproof laminate with sealed edges and waterproof core that could work in bathrooms, but you have to specifically confirm that rating. Read the warranty and make sure it explicitly covers bathroom use. Most regular laminate floors do not. The safe and simple answer is porcelain tile or quality luxury vinyl plank designed for wet areas. Both look great, both hold up, neither will send you back to the hardware store in 4 years. And my personal recommendation is just stay away from laminate or vinyl in the bathrooms that get a lot of use. Number 2, standard particle board vanity cabinets. Now I know I just talked about this in one of my previous videos, and I'm going to continue on in this one because this little sneaky joker, well, I see it happening all the time, and it's a real problem. A lot of builder grade bathroom vanities and plenty of mid-range ones are built with particle board core. Particle board is compressed wood chips and sawdust held together with glue and resin. It's cheap, it machines well, and it takes a finish. And it's absolutely terrible in bathrooms if it ever gets wet. Particle board just doesn't absorb water, it crumbles and falls apart. The fibers swell, the structure weakens, and the cabinet that looked perfectly fine develops soft spots, sags under the weight of stone, and can start to literally crumble from the inside out. The worst damage happens right where you would expect it, under the sink, where any minor drip from supply lines or drain creates damp environment behind a closed cabinet. You open up the cabinet one day and the floor of it crumbles when you press on it. The comparison you want to ask when shopping for a vanity is whether the box construction is plywood or particle board. Plywood has a cross-laminated structure that handles moisture dramatically better. The layers pull against one another when one wants to expand, which keeps the whole thing stable. Solid wood can also work with proper sealing, though it needs a little bit more management in high humidity situations. MDF is a middle ground that performs okay if sealed on every edge and never gets directly wet. White marble countertops. Okay, I'm gonna be really clear and upfront about this one. Marble is genuinely beautiful, and I don't want to tell you to never use it. What I want to tell you is exactly what you're signing up for, because the bathroom is one of the most demanding environments for marble, and most people find it out after it's been installed. Marble is a soft stone. It ranks between 3 and 5 on the hardness scale, well below granite, quartzite, and most engineered surfaces. That softness means two things happen to it in a bathroom setting. The first is etching. Etching is not a stain, it's a chemical damage. Specifically, what happens when an acidic substance touches the calcium carbonate that's inside of the marble, and it actually dissolves a thin layer of the surface. The result is a dull and flat spot that looks kind of like a smudge on a polished surface. Common bathroom culprits include your cleaning products, your toothpaste that drips, mouthwash, hairspray, and basically anything with a mild acidity. And here's the part that surprises people. Sealing your marble does not prevent etching. Sealing helps with staining. It prevents liquids from absorbing into the stone, but etching is a reaction to the stone itself, and no sealer can stop that. So, if you have polished white marble countertops and someone sets a glass of water with a little lemon down on it and forgets, well, you'll have a permanent dull spot. No fixing it short of a professional honing and repolishing. The second thing is staining from hard water and bathroom products. Marble needs to be sealed regularly. Every 6 months to a year in a bathroom setting, or liquids will absorb into the pores and leave marks. If you love the look of marble and you're willing to maintain it, seal it and accept that it will develop a patina over time. It ages beautifully when you go in with clear eyes. But if you want a bathroom countertop you can set your stuff on and not think about it, porcelain slab or engineered quartz gives you the same veined marble look, none of the chemistry problems. A lot of clients that I've worked with have gone that route because it just genuinely makes them happier. The look is there, there's no worry about damage, and the price is much better. Number 4, unsealed or cement-based grout in high moisture zones. This one isn't a material people consciously choose. It's more something that gets left incomplete, but the results, they're just as bad, and I see it everywhere. Standard cement-based grout is porous. It has tiny holes throughout its structure that absorb liquid, trap dirt, and in a consistently wet environment like a shower floor or tub surround, give mold exactly the foothold it needs to grow, not on top of the grout, inside of it. Once mold takes root inside cement-based grout, the only real fix is grinding it out and starting over. There's no cleaner that reaches mold inside a porous surface. This is why sealing grout after installation matters so much. A penetrating sealer fills those holes and creates a barrier that keeps moisture, soap scum, and mold spores on the surface where you can actually clean them off. In a dry area, it's nice to have. In a shower, it's a non-negotiable. Better yet, in the wettest zones, especially shower floors and walls, the right answer is epoxy grout. Epoxy grout is non-porous by design. It is made from resin, not cement. So it doesn't have the microscopic holes that standard grout has. Mold can't penetrate it because there's no space inside the matrix for mold to grow. It doesn't need sealing, it doesn't stain. It costs more, and it's a little trickier to install because it sets faster and requires more precise cleanup. But in a shower you actually want to last without it becoming a biology experiment, epoxy grout is worth every penny and is a standard in all of our installations. Number 5, non-moisture resistant wallpaper, including most peel and stick. This is the trendy one right now, and I totally understand why. Pattern wallpaper in bathroom looks incredible. It's one of the fastest ways to add personality to a space that can feel a little clinical. And peel and stick versions seem easy and low commitment, that people can just put them up without thinking too hard about what could happen next. What's going to happen next is that the steam from your daily shower is going to soften the adhesive. Over and over, warm moist air does to peel and stick adhesive what a hairdryer does to a bumper sticker. The edges start to lift first, usually at the seams and along the ceiling line, right where the steam hits hardest. Then the center starts to bubble, and once it's going, it tends to go all at once. Even traditional wallpaper, when it's not the right type for wet environment, fails in similar ways. Moisture gets behind it through any imperfection in the wall surface, through the seams, and through the areas that weren't perfectly prepped. Once there's moisture trapped behind the wall, well, you've got mold problems that you can't see. The fix isn't complicated. If you want wallpaper in a bathroom, use a vinyl-backed wallpaper specifically designed for high humidity spaces and install it with a paste rated for wet environments, not peel and stick. Vinyl does not absorb moisture, does not delaminate from the wall the way that paper does, and can be wiped clean. Keep it off the ceiling directly above the shower and off any surface that's going to take direct splashes. For those zones, tile is still the right answer. Okay, these were the 5 materials that look great, fail in bathrooms, and cost you more in the long run than the money you thought you were saving up front. As I always say, build for the room you're actually building for, not the one in the photo. Your future self will thank you. If you want help making these calls the right way on your next bathroom project, don't forget to click the link in the description. Everything is there. Now, tell me in the comments a bathroom material you've gone wrong with. I know there's some good stories out there. Hit the like and subscribe button, and you guys will see me on the next one. Thanks for watching. Built by Becker.